Most entrepreneurs think that building a personal brand that stands out on YouTube is about being perfect on camera and not making any mistakes. But it's not. In fact, there's one characteristic that not only makes you stand out in the sea of creators, but also makes your audience completely forgive you for any speaking mistake that you make. And I call it authentic enthusiasm. So I've analyzed dozens of top creators and personal brands in this space, and they all have this one thing in common. But I see a ton of beginners who are just starting out at talking on camera get this completely wrong in a way that actually drives their viewers away. So in this video, I want to show you how you can bring massive amounts of enthusiastic confidence to your videos in a way that remains completely true to yourself and builds tons of trust with your audience so you can build a community that watches and buys from you. So I recently had a group coaching call where one of my clients was struggling with the intros of his videos. He would talk to the camera for 5-10 minutes, and by the end of the video, he was flowing. And so he was concluding his video well, but he knew that the first 30 seconds to 1 minute of the video are the most important. He knew he wasn't being his enthusiastic, confident self because he still felt those slight nerves as he was starting his video. So here's what I told him so he could be enthusiastic and authentic right from the get-go. The concept of authentic enthusiasm. So how can we sort of engineer like more enthusiasm in the beginning of our videos, like before we're warmed up? One, it's knowing that you've got some gold to share. So it's knowing that in your video, like you've got like some kind of mindset shift for your client or just some kind of step-by-step process or something that you're like, for the right person, like they're gonna fucking love this. This is gonna be such a cool thing for them. And I'm really, really excited to share. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that even if you have that, you might not be connected to that on like a body level when you're shooting. So you might have that plan and you might be like, cool, I know this is good, but then you're still just like, you know, the nerves take over and you're a bit like, okay, this is the video. And so it's like visualizing that, it's connecting with that, it's allowing that to be in your body and be like, okay, how can I feel the energy of this? How can I allow this to energize myself? Like this gold that I can give my audience. And also this sort of enthusiasm for the process as well. When you explain something well in a way that lands, it's like a really good feeling. I know that feeling's gonna come when I explain it in this video, so how can I sort of bring that feeling forward a bit to the beginning of this video, right? That's like the best watch time hack in the world, right? Is that it's not by saying the perfect line. It's by like having this energy in the beginning of the video where you're like, without saying it, your body language and your voice is basically saying, I've got some crazy shit to talk about today and it's gonna be amazing, right? But then that's what enthusiasm does. That's why when people are enthusiastic, you're like, this must be really good because they're super enthusiastic. And for different people, this looks like different things, right? So we can have Mrs. Extrovert, and for her being enthusiastic, you can like really see it. You can have Mr. Introvert, and they might have this really quiet enthusiasm where it's like bubbling beneath the surface, but they've got that little spark in their eye, and they're like, yeah, this is some really good shit I'm going to share. And so it can still be authentic to you, right? It doesn't like the advice is not saying like, yeah, just get super hyped up and start shouting. So yeah, I'd love for you to give that a try, Guy, in your next video when you record, and just see if you can sort of just hit the ground running. So as I said, you need to have in the forefront of your mind that your info is good and that you're excited to share it. But how can you actually consistently feel this before you make every single video? Well, just before I get onto that, if you want to join the next cohort of the Natural Speaking System and get transformational speaking results, I'd highly recommend signing up to the waitlist. The next cohort is opening in September. The last one sold out, so I definitely recommend being on that so you can grab your spot first. So when it comes to consistently having authentic enthusiasm when you're presenting on camera, you're going to kind of fall into one or two camps. One is that you are an excitable, enthusiastic person, and you're naturally going to be leaning in and you're going to want to be sharing a lot of information. And that's great. And the only thing that might be in the way is a slight nervousness. So naturally you're excitable and you're enthusiastic, but when the camera's on, you just feel a bit nervous, so that sort of gives you a bit of stage fright. And in that case, you need to actually focus on relaxation. So relaxing your body, getting into a more comfortable state. And by getting more comfortable, your natural excitedness will come through. Now, on the other side of the fence, we've got people who aren't necessarily that naturally enthusiastic or excitable. So how can we actually tap into that consistently? Well, one of the best ways is to just map out quickly your intrinsic and extrinsic motivations for making this video in itself. So there's a bunch of reasons why you are wanting to build a personal brand on YouTube. So you've got your extrinsic reasons, like I want views, influence, and impact sort of audience. I want financial freedom, financial security. I want to help people, right? So you've got those extrinsic motivations. And then you've got your intrinsic motivations, which might be, it feels really good to explain stuff to people. You enjoy the connection that you build with your audience and reading the comments. This sort of internal sense that this very video is moving you towards your vision, right? So there's a bunch of reasons, internal, external, that really make this quite an exciting thing to be doing. And sometimes it's just reminding yourself of that and feeling that in your body and your mind, like, this is actually really cool being here. I've got the camera in front of me, and instead of feeling this sort of stage fright of I need to get things right and there's a light and I've got the recording here, what happens if I just start talking? Start going, and just reminding myself like, okay, this is actually a really cool thing to be doing. It's moving me towards my goals. I'm proud of myself for showing up and just doing this in the first place. I've got something really cool that I want to explain, or at least give a go at explaining. If I just keep this habit up of making a video every week, it's moving me closer towards financial freedom, living from my passions, building an audience, building a community, from being able to speak and communicate myself better with each and every video. So I'm sure you have that passion and vision at the best of times, you know, that's why you're watching this video in the first place. But can you remind yourself of that mentally and physically in your body, how that actually feels before recording each and every video? And if you can get that feeling, that's when you start being able to deliver with authentic enthusiasm in every single video. And there's a crazy second benefit to doing all of this as well, and I want to leave you with this. When you remind yourself of all of your goals and your motivations in intrinsic, extrinsic, you become pretty aligned, and you become somebody who actually knows where they're going. You're not making a personal brand because you feel like you have to. You're trying to keep up, or you see all these competitors and you're like, oh God, I got to stay ahead. Instead, you know where you're going. You're excited to get there. And the crazy added benefit of this is that your audience can feel that. And people follow somebody who knows where they're going. People don't generally follow people who don't really know where they're going or why they're showing up or why they're doing this in the first place. So if you can have that at the forefront of your mind, I know why I'm here, and that excites me, your audience is going to feel that from the get-go, and they're going to want to follow your journey regardless. As I said, the Natural Speaking System waitlist is in the description below. And if you want to learn a 5-part framework to making more sales in your videos through your speaking, check out this video next. It's going to teach you how to speak more like a pro, and also give your audience that feeling of, man, this creator, this entrepreneur is full of great expertise. How can I work with them?